Hey, what's up guys, the French Monkey here, and today I want to talk about a new add-on that I created for Blender, the Curve Generator. So this has just been released as an official Blender extension. Just like my ramp generator, it creates kind of randomized points in the float curve node. So as you can see here, I do have some presets that you can play around with, like the spring preset, the elastic preset. There's some stairs that you can create and some bounces. And of course, there's a couple of options like to invert here and there. There's also a lot of presets that I added and some randomized points that you can add in your curve. One of the features that I really wanted to have was to be able to import custom CSS code. Let's jump inside of Blender, and to install this you will have to go inside of the preference, get add-on, and just type generator, and you will have the curve generator. All right, so the curve generator will show here, as you can see on the side, either in the geometry node, the shader editor, and the compositor. So pretty much wherever there is a float curve node. So I'm going to add an object right now, a cube, new, and I'm going to bring up a float curve. So as you can see now, I can go to my float curve, and I do need to select this, and now I can just generate curve. And as you can see, I do need to reset view, and for this one I'm going to disable the use clipping. We can select the number of bounds for the spring source and the strength. So again, reset view and add the strength to 1. It's going to be just a full loaded spring. I'm going to decrease that just a little bit so you can see what it does. So this is the spring, this is the elastic. Again, I'm going to reset view, and we have this nice elastic curve. The bounce, going to create some bounces. The stairs, here it is, and some random options. So I'm going to reset view here. The minimum value of each point. So in this case, I don't want any negative value, just 0 to 1, and you will have your points here. You can of course randomize the position. And yeah, next we have the presets, and we have a lot of different presets that you can select, generate, and this will generate the preset. And of course, the custom. So right now, the default CSS is 0 to 1, so this is a linear curve. But if we go back to our anim.js code, we can configure a curve here, copy the linear CSS, go back to our generator and just paste it here, and now generate. We will have that exact same curve. So let's talk about the use case of the curve generator. I'm going to close this, and I do have a couple of tests just to showcase how I've been personally using it. So this is a project file that I did for my everyday project, and I'm going to have a link down below so you can download it. And what I wanted was to create kind of these hairs, but be able to control how each string look like. So as you can see, this is kind of the output, and it's all controlled from the float curve. So as you can see, let's change some stuff. So I'm going to reduce the bounce, generate, and now we have something like that, right? So very easy use case, and I just love to be able to do that. Let's try the stairs. Yeah, a little bit weirder this time. And I'm gonna go to the elastic. Yeah, so we have something like that. So for this case, I just use the spring, added more bounces, and that's pretty much it. Another use case for the curve generator is to be able to create and control animation. So as you can see here, I have a very simple setup, Nacosphere, shade smooth. I'm setting the position to +1 so that the ball center point is right down here. And I have a set position, and I'm going to plug in again the offset. And as you can see, we have our scene time. We divide that by 30. So this is a 30 frame. I'm warping that from 1 to 0. And then we have our float curve. So if I press play, we'll have this animation. Of course, I can increase the scale. And the nice thing is that I can go to my float curve and just, generate something else. So in this case, I'm going to add more spring to it. And you can see what this does. Let's go to the elastic. So this will start from 0 and go up to 1 with all of these bounces in between. Let's go to the bounce. So this will create bounces. I can increase the bounce count. And be able to see, I will have to increase my frames. So yeah. And let's take a look at the custom CSS. So I'm going to go back to anim.js and let's out the out elastic, right? I'm going to configure this, maybe a little bit more bounces. I'm going to copy the code, go back to Blender and just paste it here. And now we have the exact same float curve. And this is the third use case of the float curve to create kind of this deformed geometry. So I have a cube here with a lot of vertices, and it is linked to a set position node. And as you can see here, I'm getting the position, separate X, Y, Z. I'm taking the X axis value inside of the map range, and I'm just changing this from minus 5 to 5 because our cube is 10. So we don't need to adjust this. And we have next our float curve. So as you can see, it has the exact same shape. We can add some things around. And it looks pretty nice. Let's go to the elastic. And even some random. So you can see what we get. So I'm going to deselect the random positioning. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So of course, here, as you can see, I did have, for the first couple of iteration, I had a live auto refresher for the float curve. So you didn't have to actually use the generate curve, but this was very intensive on the system. And I just decided to get rid of that because I did have some comment from Nick, developer of Blender, to point out that it is very intensive to auto refresh the curve. Whenever you make changes to the float curve, Blender has to redraw the whole geometry node. So if you have a heavy scene, it's practically unusable with the live auto refresher. So I just decided to get rid of the automatic update, and now you will see the changes just after you generate the curve again. So yeah, that's a small downgrade that I had to do, but yeah, this is the only way to work with float curve properly. So yeah, be sure to download the add-on, and if you have some questions or anything like that, you can always go to the GitHub repo and ask me about anything you want here, issues or even new feature that you want added. And yeah, I see you guys in the next one. Cheers.